Hey guys, coming at you today with a recipe I've always wanted to try with my already upgraded keto recipes, my keto fudgy brownie recipe and my keto soft and chewy chocolate chip cookie recipe. You guessed it, can we put it together and make a keto brookie? Let's find out. Let's get started. Hey everyone, welcome back. If you're new here, thanks for joining me. My name's Alycia and I'm a pastry chef with a sweet tooth. And I'm here to show you all the tips and tricks on how to make the best keto recipes possible. So if you enjoy my recipes, please hit the subscribe button down there, give the video a thumbs up, leave me a comment, and share with all your friends and family. It all helps my channel grow and to bring you new keto recipes every Saturday. Today we're having some fun in the bakery because I've always wanted to try this recipe and never really had a chance to do so. I do need a brownie for a vendor show and I have some time to play with it, so if it doesn't work, I can mess with it a little bit and see if I can come up with one that does work. But today we're just gonna try and take my brownie recipe and my cookie recipe and put them together and see what happens. I figured out the carb count. I cannot use a whole batch of either my brownie or my cookie because it'll be way too many carbs. So I'm using a half batch of each, but I'm gonna make a batch of each anyway and then weigh out half the batch of brownies, and then I'll probably scoop 12 cookies and then use the rest. If it does work, I might just make another batch. But if it doesn't work, I might use that to, kind of test and see if I have to do something different, to bake a brookie. Like maybe I have to bake the brownie a little bit and then put cookie dough on it, or, something like that. So I'll use that to do another experiment if my first one completely doesn't work. Okay, to get started, we're gonna start with the brownie recipe. I'm not gonna go into super great detail on why I chose my ingredients I did, or a lot of tips and tricks because I already have a video on it, so I'll link that up there for you. We're just gonna run through the ingredients real quick and get it mixing. So I need 2 sticks of butter in my stand mixer. You can do all this with a hand mixer also. So 2 sticks softened, salted butter. Always use salted. If you don't, add some salt to your recipe. To that, we're adding powdered monk fruit erythritol blend. Any powdered will work. $144, about a cup and a couple tablespoons. 160 grams of allulose, about a cup. And we're gonna get that whipping up on the mixer. You want it nice and light and fluffy. While that's going, we're gonna get our dry ingredients. So I'll just put them up on the screen and weigh them out while the mixer is mixing. Stop and scrape down your mixer a couple times. Once that's whipped up, I'm going to add 4 eggs, 2 teaspoons of vanilla, dry ingredients, and that's it for the brownie mix. We want it to look like that. Nice and white. Okay, our brownie batter is done. We're going to give it a good mix. Make sure we're all incorporated down there, which we're not, so stir it up. Now my normal brownie batter is only 1 carb for 1/12 of the brownie, even with adding some chocolate chunks into it. Normally I add Lily's dark chocolate sea salt chunks. I'm out of that bar, so I might just add a little bit of a chocolate chip. We're gonna have chocolate chips on top too, so I'm not too worried about it, but I feel like I want a little bit of chunk in my brownie. So I have a 9x13 pan here. I'm gonna give it a spray. I'm just spraying it to put some parchment in it. The brownie will come out fine probably either way, but insurance policy. So full batch with no chocolate chips in it weighs 880-ish grams. So I'm gonna start with 420 and I'm gonna you know, dollop it in so that I don't have too hard of a time spreading it out. Still not mixed all the way. I had some stuff on my spatula. That's 440 right there. Let's see what we're at here. I guess we're about right. So you put 430 in here. The gram measurements are never going to be accurate on a recipe because, or like super accurate, because eggs all weigh different and stuff like that. So, okay, we'll save that for if we have to do a second experiment. So spread this out evenly. And we'll get on to making the cookie dough. It is pretty doable to make a half batch of my brownies. The cookie dough is a little bit tougher because it's one egg in there, and you can always freeze my cookie dough and use it as you need it too. So I would always suggest making a full batch of my cookie dough. Make sure it's nice and even because we don't want it too high in the middle. I have a feeling the hard part about this is going to be getting it to bake evenly, getting the brownie to bake same time as the cookie. So definitely want to make sure it's even all the way around. I wonder if I should put this in the fridge. That'll make it really nice and hard and easy for me to spread out the cookie dough on. I think I'm going to do that. Into the fridge. I'm not going to put any chocolate chips in it. It's too thin of a batter, I think. They'll all just get sunk to the bottom. Now onto the cookie. Okay, I just rinsed my bowls, spatulas, whisks, and everything real quick. 2 sticks of butter. So same thing with this. I'm not going to go into super great detail of why I picked the ingredients I did. I'll link up here my soft and chewy chocolate chip cookie recipe. 96 grams or a half cup of golden erythritol. I'm using the cheapo brand here, so I got a big clump in there. Sweetness level, you can cut it down a little bit, you can up it a little bit, you can always just do a little bit extra stevia. It's not a super sweet cookie, but it's going on a pretty sweet brownie, so we're gonna beat this until it's super light and fluffy. You want that sweetener kind of dissolved in there. While that's going, I'm gonna do again, weigh out all my dry ingredients. I'm gonna use the same bowl, whatever, a little bit of cocoa powder, not gonna hurt. I'm thinking that I'm going to cook this at a little bit lower temperature just to make sure things kind of bake evenly. I believe I bake both at 350, but I'm going to err on the side of caution and do 325. So I'm going to preheat my oven now. Okay, I'm going to get that whisking and get my dry ingredients measured out. Now, I don't remember what video it was, but I did mention before that you get what you pay for with sweeteners. Like, I buy the cheapest sweetener I can find that is still, you know, monk fruit erythritol, but Locanto definitely gives you a better outcome for my chocolate chip cookies. This has been going for like 10 minutes. It's super light and fluffy, but you can see the graininess in there. It never like fully melts like the Locanto Golden Monk Fruit Erythritol blend. I didn't realize that was the case until I had my own bakery and I was wondering why my cookies didn't look the same, and then I did buy Locanto when it was on sale at one point and noticed the difference. So they still taste delicious, it's just that they're not as smooth of a cookie, I guess. There's a little bit more graininess to it, but it's still a delicious cookie. So I'm going to add the vanilla, egg, and my dry ingredients, and then we're going to scoop some and then get the rest onto our brownie and get it into the oven. I'm just gonna finish mixing it by hand. We gotta mix in our chocolate chips anyways. Whatever you decide to put in for your chocolate chips and what protein powders you use and stuff like that will determine your carb count on this, if it's gonna stay 1 gram per, or it's actually 2 grams per brownie. I'm using mostly dark and semi-sweet from Bake Believe and a little bit of milk. I always do triple chocolate chip for vendor shows, so I'm keeping it consistent with that. Now, usually before I scoop, I refrigerate, so I'm not going to actually scoop these. I'm going to measure out 12 1-ounce balls, which is 336 grams. I always do 1 ounce balls, and you should get 24 cookies. So I'm going to set it aside for now instead of putting it in the fridge, just in case I do want to make another batch with the brownie and the cookie dough. Okay. It's pretty solid. I'm not going to go try to go super close to the edge here. I was thinking about doing literally 12 drops of cookie dough, but since we're not chilling it or anything, try and just spread it out since our brownie is nice and hardened. I'm excited to see if this works. I've been thinking about this for a while. Who doesn't love chocolate chip cookies and brownies and then you put them together? I don't know if I should make it like super smooth or make it kind of like, should I try to get some into the brownie batter? Don't really know. I didn't even look up a recipe for brookie. I'm just running with it. It's going on the fly. I just wonder if we're going to get any rise out of it. Normally I get rise on my brownie pretty high. But obviously we don't get a lot of rise out of the cookie because there's a little bit of baking soda in there. I wonder if I should swirl it in at all. Maybe we'll swirl half of it. Will I be able to tell which side I did? And then spread it out. See, I get some cookie down in there. That might be a disaster, but we'll see. Okay. I have no idea how long this is going to bake for. My brownies is usually, I think, 16 minutes. So I'm going to err on the side of really cautious and just do 12 minutes. Turn it. Well, so I'm going to do 6 minutes, see where we're at. If it looks like it's half done, give it a turn and do another 6 minutes, or I might give it more time. We'll see what happens. Meet you back here. Excited. Okay, it's been 10 minutes. This is what it's looking like. I'm going to turn it. I'm going to go another 10. Okay, I just checked it with 1 minute left and it seems like it's almost done. So that was 20 minutes. I'm gonna pull it out and show you and give it my final thought on if it's done or not. You don't want to overcook my brownie, and it wasn't jiggly anymore at 17 minutes, but the top felt really soft. So I'm worried that the cookie wasn't baked all the way. So we'll see what I think. 5 seconds. I think I'm gonna call it done. So we gotta let these cool for a while before we can try and dig into them. I hope they are baked all the way through and they look like they're baked on top. So can't wait, but we have to until they're completely cooled before we can slice into it. Okay, our Keto Brookie is cooled. Let's see, I already gave it a little unstick from the sides here. Hopefully it'll come right out. I said I am gonna bake another one. We're gonna see what happens here and what it looks like. I might just try to do scoops of the cookie dough and flatten it out a tiny bit. That way it doesn't look like one solid mass of cookie. I'm excited. It's like half cookie, half brownie. 12, so in 6. I'll use the hard one. 8 into thirds. 2.6. bit small. Still soft and fudgy. See, it's nice and moist in there. See how this tastes together. Came out. That is pretty delicious. Some of the chocolate chips look like they sunk into the brownie. I'm definitely gonna do another pan. This turned out delicious. So I think the swirling thing did help. This was the side I swirled it in, and it looks like, you know, some of the chocolate chips got in. No, still looks like the chocolate chips sunk in this side too. So I'm thinking I'm just gonna do the scoop on top in, you know, I'm gonna do 12 scoops and just flatten them out a tiny bit so that they keep some of their brownie-ness on top, because I want it to look like a brownie and a cookie, not just a cookie and then they have to like pick it up and look at it. It's pretty delicious. So I'll show you the final results of that here, and you'll probably see it on the thumbnail. But I say this was a success. I'm really pleasantly surprised. It took 20 minutes at 325, and they're 2 carbs each, but they're pretty big, so still not bad for 2 grams net carbs. The regular batch of my brownies is only 1 carb. These are delicious. So I hope you guys enjoyed this little recipe experiment. I'm surprised there was no disaster. It came out perfectly. What other different and interesting things have you seen online that you thought, can you make this keto? I would love a challenge. I see all these awesome desserts on my feed all the time, and I'm like, ooh, could I make that keto? Ooh, could I make that keto? They all look so delicious, and it's like, I want that for myself. So let me know in the comments below if you've seen stuff on your Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, whatever. You can send me the link in a comment if you see something that you really think is awesome and think is able to be made keto, or if I'm able to make it keto. Don't forget to check out my Amazon links and the blog link to the full recipe in the description box below. Give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you haven't already. And as always, I'll be back with more keto recipes. Bye guys. Happy keto baking.